When your old career gives you lemons, throw in some ice, mix in some vodka, and call it a podcast. From the Mac of All Trades studio in Fairport and driven by Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, it's Billified, the Bill Moran Podcast.
Thanks for getting your pot on. Thank you for telling a friend. And my friend Dan Barillo is here. He's got his Buffalo Bills hat on. Before we get into any of the stuff surrounding them in particular, I'd like to just give you a little peek into my life and things that are going on. And my mom had sent out a text, and I had talked to her last night, and she said this to me. And she said... let me see. Do I have it here? I have the group. Damn it. I'm hitting the wrong one because my brother just wrote something. Okay. Today is the 8th anniversary of Granny Ag's passing. And Granny Ag, go ahead, Dan.
I know what it says. I know what it says. That wasn't Granny Ag. That was your aunt. But
yes, that was my aunt.
Yeah.
But that was when they left me.
Tried to leave you a voicemail.
There was some of the funniest shit. They were leaving me a voicemail for my birthday, and I was mowing the lawn. And then they called again, and my grandmother says to me, "Did you happy birthday?" I remember I was back by the tree house in the pool area, and I'm mowing the lawn, and I feel it now vibrating. So I go, "Hey, happy birthday. Did you get our message?" I said, "No." "Oh, don't listen to it." That was the greatest message ever. Because my grandmother thinks that she doesn't think she's leaving a voicemail. She was calling with my mom's youngest sister, who's 15 years younger than my mom, and they get into a huge fight. Because she says, he's not there, Ma. I know. And it just goes from there. And it just went from there. And it was.
I tried digging that up. I couldn't, because I know I sent it to you when you left the station.
Yes,
and
I did
I'm like, it's got to be somewhere. It has to be somewhere. I don't know where it is. So then a friend of ours, Dave, who recorded all the shows like better than we did.
Yeah.
It might be on a thumb drive that I gave to you that Dave put all our shows on somewhere on there.
I have that.
Okay, so it might be, and he labels some of the dates. Not, we don't have every show.
Yeah,
we have a lot. When we started doing Ustream, that's when we started like getting a lot of the recordings.
So, and then we had her on to review Norbit.
Yeah,
remember that shitty Eddie Murphy movie? Yeah. But she was laughing. I mean, she was funny. She was a character. I called her up when the Bagpipers came in and played Amazing Grace, and. I think she was singing along, or Danny Boy, or something like that. I mean, we used to have her on the show a lot.
And then that Polish piper never left. We had to hide from him.
No, we did.
He stuck around for 2 more hours. He was asking about who the general manager was. He needed a job.
So
guy walking around in a kilt for 3 hours in an office building in a bagpipe. Yeah, nothing to see here.
My okay, I'm just getting all kinds of information here. My mom had sent this to both me, my brother, and sister. Today's the 8th anniversary of Granny Ag's passing. Sometimes it seems like yesterday, and sometimes it seems so long ago. I really miss her. I put a heart to that. I didn't know what else to say.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of just a lot. So my brother writes.
Because you made a comment before the show.
I know.
And I'm like, okay.
My brother writes back to my mother. I miss when you used to get so angry at her and slam the buttons on the cordless phone and scream that she was drinking again. Rest easy, Ag. And then he writes, but I don't think she was drinking. It was her medication. I go, that is fucking classic right there. That's classic. It was very funny. I don't know if I was, I think we were doing the break room when we had the anniversary party for my parents, and she passed out at the party, and they took her out in an ambulance, and
I don't know.
That's a story for another day.
I don't remember that.
I will tell you that story for another day.
I do remember the story where she fell asleep at Christmas or something.
Oh, no, that was the same thing. It wasn't Christmas. We were getting ready for the anniversary party, and she went in. My parents had this room that had two entrances. One was French doors. One was just a glass door at the other end of the room. And it had a big fireplace in there, two couches that faced each other, all these, sliders and doors in the back that led out to the hot tub. It was a beautiful home that they rebuilt after the fire. And she's laying down on there, fell asleep, and we had a bunch of flowers delivered. There were tons of them for this party we were throwing for my parents. And my brother goes, "Oh my God, have you seen Grandma? She's laying there with her hands on her chest. It looks like she's dead." He goes, "Let's go in like it's awake." So I go, "Okay." I grab flowers. I give him one. I give me one. I start walking in. My brother goes, No. You never enter from the front in a funeral parlor. So we go through the dining room. We walk in. We kneel down, and we lay the roses on her. And she kind of comes to, and we're kneeling there praying, but we're both like giggling. We're a little buzzed. We're laughing. And she picks up the J and starts going, "Bullshit, you two shit. And she's hitting us with the roses. Like, this woman was a cartoon character, and I loved her. There's a lot that we're going to unpack here today, I think. A lot of thoughts and things that'll come about the team that is represented on your cap.
Oh, I thought you wanted to talk about Greenland. Oh, okay.
And I will say this. This isn't really a story about football. To me, it's a story about what happens when high-performing systems reach its emotional ceiling. And that's exactly what I think kind of happened in Buffalo, because what we watched wasn't failure. I really don't think it was exactly failure. I think it was exposure. And now we're seeing some of the things come out, and it sort of started with Josh Allen. I would say people don't cry in public because they're weak. They cry because the system they're inside no longer contains the pressure.
It's a release.
Yeah, it's an absolute release. And so I really think that. And I think high performers regulate constantly, no matter what field you're in, whether it be the legal profession, I don't know, if you're a business owner, whatever. And I think leadership roles require emotional suppression at times. And
oh yeah, the captain always has to be stoic. Or we're told the captain has to be stoic. And in sports, there's less stoicism than there used to be, but it's still there.
And
leader can't show emotion.
No. And
he's got to have a stiff upper lip.
100%.
No matter what happens, he's got to be different.
And I think when regulation fails, right, we see that, emotions leak. And the regulation was over, and there was no more pressure. And I really believe this, Dan, that tears aren't about the moment. They're about the weight that's been carried very quietly. And we all know that there was a lot on Josh Allen's shoulders this year.
Oh, gosh.
Right? I mean, I think it's fair to say, is that as a guy who, I don't want to say lives and dies, but is deeply personally invested, writes about them, has his articles printed, right? That's a lot. I think you have a say.
Yeah. And when the best player in the NFL doesn't have any hardware to back up his play, even though he is.
Right.
And you believe it's all on your shoulders. And I think he had a feeling that was their last game with Sean McDermott and that he let him down. And, Josh did not play. Josh was both the best and worst player.
Yes. At the same time. In the same game.
Like I heard somebody say, Bo Nix outplayed him. Bull crap. Bo Nix sucked. Okay. Josh Allen was literally the best and the worst player on the field.
Yep.
I don't remember ever saying that about anybody.
No.
I just don't remember saying that about anyone ever. And yet it all came crashing out of it. In that post-game press conference, it's like, it's all on me, guys, and it's my fault. And then all of a sudden you start asking Deion Dawkins and others about it. They're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
No.
I know, but I think that's quietly what he carried.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, leaders quietly carry that. And I'll tell you what, I think this kind of pressure shows up in executives. I think it shows up in parents when they're, you're trying to be a parent and do good stuff. Leaders and anyone who keeps it together until they just can't anymore. And it just happens that way.
Oh, yeah. I remember when my father died.
Yeah.
I shed a tear the day I found out. I cried that he had cancer, and then 4 years later, the day that he died.
Yeah.
And that whole time, I'm like trying to keep it together for the family. Then after he was gone, it just all came out.
Sure.
Right. Like I was okay at the funeral, but it was the day that he died. You know, when my wife's father died, I was asked to speak at the funeral, and I didn't really. He had a stroke years before I met him.
Right.
So, in fact, yesterday was the anniversary of like something like 10 years or 15 years when he had the stroke. So I didn't know the man that he was before the stroke. So we'd have conversations, but they really weren't, deep.
Right.
And I get up there at the pulpit and I just start bawling.
Right.
And I'm like, I know the guy, but it was just like all the pressure of just
trying to hold it together,
for my wife and her family.
Her in pain. I mean, this is what I'm saying, because I want to read sort of a summarization that I wrote of the New York Post article that for a brief period, I don't know if it's still there, but if you go to NewYorkPost.com, the Buffalo Bills were the cover story. That was the first thing that came up on their page. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But I have seen executives, and when we talk about like the cracks and the things, and as things unfold, one of the greatest was before, not before, I guess it was before you and I knew each other, but there was something that got exposed, and like the shit internally started to crumble because there were people who really loved this person and they're finding out things about it. It was just wild. And I go, yeah, these kind of things happen all the time. And we'll get more into this because Peter's going to join us. But let me read. I want to read this, and I want to read some of the comments that were from the article. But it says, Buffalo Bills owner Terry Pegula said the emotional aftermath of the team's divisional playoff loss to the Broncos was a major factor in his decision to fire longtime head coach Sean McDermott. Pegula described walking into the locker room after the 33-30 overtime loss and seeing quarterback Josh Allen sobbing, completely spent after giving everything he had. That image, along with a team visibly broken despite maximum effort, convinced Pegula that change was necessary. Allen publicly took responsibility for the loss, which hinged on a controversial overtime interception intended for Brandon Cooks, a play many believe should have been ruled down before Jaquan McMillan secured possession. But I think with the way the rules are, I think they got it right. And the rules are like, you got to make a football move and you have to survive the ground or survive the ground.
But then we've seen catches where that wasn't the case. So it's like, okay, well, what's the precedent? The precedent is that's a catch. I understand why. Here's the I understand why they ruled it an interception on the field.
And I'm with
because
you.
It's in real time. Oh, he's got the ball. Oh, that's an interception. The ball never hit the ground. First down going the other way. It's Broncos football. Now, okay, it's got to be reviewed, right? All change of possessions have to be reviewed. And they're like, yeah, that's catch. Moving on. Oh, that's an interception. We're moving on.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
You didn't spend 10 seconds on that?
The NFL kind of knows themselves what it catches.
No,
because
they don't. They knew that, like, okay, the other game is 10 minutes behind, so we got to move along.
You got it. That's exactly it. It was some time. The press conference with... Pegula insisted officiating was not a factor in McDermott's dismissal, instead criticizing coaching decisions and overall direction. The press conference grew tense when Pegula revealed ownership, quote-unquote, pushed to draft wide receiver Keon Coleman, despite the pick not being a top choice for newly appointed football president and GM Brandon Beane. So he's saying ownership that he did?
No.
Well, that's what the article is at.
Okay, no.
I'm thinking coaching.
The coaching staff.
That's maybe my misinterpretation.
He said the coaching staff he goes, can I interrupt for just a second? And everybody's like, no, Terry, shh, don't say anything. But go on.
Allen, who previously had a close relationship with former OC Brian Daboll, will reportedly have input in selecting the next head coach.
Even though he supposedly didn't have any input on the firing of Sean McDermott.
Somebody writes a comment to this article on the New York Post. You can go find it yourself. Who knew players balling could get a coach fired? Something the Jets players need to keep in mind.
That's good.
Good grief, yes. Young men today are becoming the new women, in my opinion. Only times I ever saw my dad wipe tears away it was when he signed my report cards, which I took to mean he was proud of me.
Okay.
Yeah. The other one was the GM just ruined this team, fires the coach, and gives himself a raise. He just lost two. It wasn't just the coach or the players. It's the guy who put the team together. That's what they're saying. And I will say this, nothing, in my opinion, says healthy organization like firing your coach, exposing your draft fights, and letting your quarterback help pick the next head coach. I mean, that right there, Danny, that right there says healthy organization at One Bills Drive.
That press conference was so bad. It was amazing. I mean, it was just, did you watch it? Did you listen to it? It was.
I did not.
It was so bad. It was good. And then at 50 minutes, they cut it off. And it's like, whoa, we're not done yet. Well, we went 50 minutes. We're done. It's like, they wanted to like, it's almost like if you could grab the hook and pull the guy off the stage with the hook. That's what they were trying to do with Terry Pagula and Brandon Beane.
You need
to save them.
You need to say less.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You need to say less.
And now you know why they waited like 2 days to do a press conference after the firing, because they knew that Terry hasn't spoken in 6 years publicly with this team, and you knew that like he would just bumble his way through it. And they just, let's put it this way. The theme for me on Billified this year, as I said in the first show, is make it make sense.
Right.
Mims, make it make sense. Nothing about this press conference made any sense. They contradicted themselves. They chased their tails.
Yeah.
I thought the media did a pretty good job. There were a couple of questions that they could have asked that they didn't. That's where I wish like somebody like Greg would be in the room, because he's a lawyer and you know how to like cross-examine somebody.
Yeah.
And there's nobody there. They don't know. The media, they're artists. It's like, okay, I need to go get my colors for my painting, which is going to be the story I'm going to tell. Whereas a prosecutor or a lawyer is like, no. I just need facts. And I'm going to ask questions until I get to the bottom of the answer. And we kind of got a picture of that today. They're dysfunctional.
Yeah.
But we didn't get
There's cracks.
Cracks. Oh, yeah.
It's bad.
That boat's taking on water.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, who's going to be the guy that bails the water out? Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, Josh Allen.
Okay, but here's my serious question with this. When someone gives you everything they have and still fails, like Josh Allen did, okay, how do you decide whether the problem is leadership, the system, or the impossible expectations placed on one person to carry everyone else? How do you decide what that is? I think
you have to have your finger on the pulse of the entire organization, and I don't think Terry does.
I don't either. And
he tried to say that, like, well, I got to spend a lot of time with my wife, which he does because of her situation, and that's awful. And he says, I haven't been able to watch my daughter, who's the number 3 ranked tennis player in the world, go out and play.
It's amazing that she is, too.
So he has to trust somebody in the building. Okay, well, who does he spend the most time with? Well, if the coach is out coaching, who's the next in line to spend time with? You're the guy who's helping build your stadium, Pete Gwelly, who has now been promoted. He's like the new Russ Brandon before Russ got in charge of everything. And he will be the next guy in charge of everything when if Brandon Beane fails. And now you've elevated Brandon Beane to being the president of the organization, who says he will remain the general manager because he has nobody else. I put this out on Instagram this past week. I said, after the game, I said, all these things are true. One of the things is that the head coach, the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, the strength and the conditioning coach, and the general manager all need to go. However, Terry doesn't know anybody else in the NFL. So what are you going to do at this point? I thought that they were legitimately stuck. Like, everybody needed to go. They both need to go, or we got to run it back one more year, because who does Terry know? And the candidates really aren't that good. And by the way, you're starting a hiring process in the middle of the playoffs, not at the end of the season like everybody else, but in the middle of the playoffs, where your best candidates may still be going out for another couple of weeks, and you can't talk to them while everybody else is taking jobs.
Let me
So we kept Brandon Beane.
Yeah.
And it's one thing to keep a guy on and say, okay, let's see how you do on this coaching search. You think you got control of this? Okay, I want to see you do it. Okay. I'd be okay with that. No. He elevated him to president. In other words, you got the keys to the organization. I trust you. I don't trust Sean McDermott. Yeah. One of you had to go. It was him. You've won the battle.
Bull was on here the other night. He said, I believe that this decision was made 5 weeks ago. And then it came out the next day that 5 weeks ago, there was a meeting with Terry Pagula,
reported
it, Brandon Beane, and head coach Sean McDermott. And Sean McDermott said, we don't have the roster that is a Super Bowl caliber. Or to something to that, I'm paraphrasing, but something like that. So it almost then sounds like there's some infighting.
And in the last couple of months, they'd ask McDermott about the roster, about the moves that were made or not made, and he goes, I love this team.
Yeah.
In other words, I'm not going to throw anybody under a bus, but And then he started praising guys like Jacoby Myers. He praised Ingram after Ingram had been like shipped out because they went and put a waiver claim on Darius Slay, and Slay didn't want to come to Buffalo. And when you do that and they're a tenured veteran, they got to go immediately on your roster. So they had to let somebody go. So they let Jamarcus Ingram go. Jamarcus Ingram ends up with an interception in the playoff game for Houston, mind you. I mean, he would take subtle digs at Brandon Beane and the roster. And what I heard today was, well, the roster's a collaboration. But it's a great roster. But it's a collaboration. But it's a great roster. But it's a collaboration. Well, which is it? It can't be both. And who's buying the groceries? And that's one of the questions that I didn't get answered today by the media or the Bills.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, as fans, let's just go with more of the me's, the guys like me. You're very deep. Peter's going to come on. He's very deep. But as fans, when we watch a player like Josh Allen break down after a loss, do we actually want accountability, or do we just want someone to blame so we don't have to sit with the disappointment ourselves? You know what I mean? It's not like I have no control over this in any way, shape, or form.
No,
and yet,
we think we know.
As much as I was like, I always made fun of people who let this kind of become their world and blah, blah. I was bummed out, like legitimately upset.
Can I tell you something? I watched that game with my wife, my sister, my brother-in-law, who's a Dolphins fan, mind you. And I'm getting texts from everybody during the game. I got to church the next day. I got people coming up to me like angry.
Yeah.
At church.
Yeah.
Well, Pastor preached a great message. And it's like, oh my gosh, am I taking this well? I must be. Because I wasn't upset after the game. Like, yeah, whatever. It's just football. Everybody else, my sister, my brother was a Dolphins fan. He's yelling at his kids. Shut up. We're trying to watch the game.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
It was sad.
And
there was
like,
something about it.
I was like resigned to it. Like, I'm over it.
Yeah.
I'm over it, guys.
But I mean, they went to overtime.
I know.
As much as Josh, like, sucked, he was great.
My point is, I feel 10 times worse today than I did after the game. Like, oh, well, all right.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm not happy about it, but you know what? Life goes on. When I woke up the next morning, I didn't even think about the game until I'm like, oh, yeah, the Bills are out of the playoffs. That's right. Seriously, I must be growing up or changing. I don't know. Because everybody else in the area was like, oh, this sucks.
I did. It was like a malaise. I mean, Bull even said the Wegmans. He goes, I was in Wegmans earlier today. And he lives in Buffalo. Mm-hmm. And he said just the mood in Wegmans was completely morose. He's like, you could just feel it.
Yeah.
And it is, it's interesting. I also, made me think, like, at what point does demanding greatness from any of our teams, right? We just love the teams. We like to watch them. Turn into forgetting that the people wearing the jerseys are actually carrying around the same pressure as you and me. They have the same fear, self-doubt that we do in our own lives. Mm-hmm. And so as these guys are going through it, you almost have to have that. I think there was great empathy for Josh Allen.
Yes.
I think there was great empathy for Josh Allen. But we'll dive a little deeper into all this because it is an interesting thing. And I just think for me, it's something that kind of transcends just the game. I think when we look at it as there's cracks, under pressure, you know, when you're holding it all in, you just kind of lose it. Sometimes you lose it in public, and it's a lot. And I adulting sucks from time to time. It just does. And being a leader can suck from time to time.
But there's no better place than to be an adult is in the NFL and in America.
Yeah, sure. I'll agree. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, take away the money, take away the thing. My singular focus was this, and it didn't work out. Mm-hmm. And I was putting it all on me, you know, and that's it. We'll see where we go.
I get it. I felt bad for Allen. I really did. I think Allen knew that this was it. I think that's why he got so emotional. I think Bull is right. I think a decision was made before that it was Super Bowl or bust.
Yeah. And
I think Allen knew, and I don't think that decision was made. I think that's an excuse. I think it's a cop-out. I think there was a power grab.
There was a power grab.
I think that somebody is severely misinformed. I think the owner is easily manipulated. I don't know how this guy earned $6 billion.
Right. All right, we'll take a moment. Our friend Peter Montemurno will join us next.
I think I have thoughts.
Oh, there's lots of thoughts. And I have a lot of things that I just want to bring in to just kind of take a little bit deeper look at, because there's so many business things that translate sports to life, right? You hear it more in business, but I think in just general, I think even in schools, they should show you, persevere, this is what can happen. Persevere, don't persevere, and this is what could happen. And I think a lot of times sports is a great analogy. So we'll get to all that right after this. If the new year has you saying, I did not sign up for this, like a workers' comp case, Social Security disability, or a personal injury claim, don't try to Google lawyer your way through it. Go to Connors and Ferris. They have offices in Buffalo, New York City, Syracuse, and Rochester, and they'll get back to you within 24 hours. Yeah. So even when you're stress scrolling at 2 a.m., you can call 262-COMP, tell them a little bit about what's going on in your life, and within 24 hours, one of their attorneys will get back to you. You'll talk to real lawyers who will explain things in plain English, not legal mumbo-jumbo. Workers' comp, Social Security disability, personal injury, complicated? Absolutely. Something you should handle alone? Nope. Connors and Ferris. Experienced, responsive, and committed to serving you better. Call 262-COMP. Help's available right now.
My decision to bring in a new coach was based on the results of our game in Denver. I want to take you in the locker room after that game. I looked around. First thing I noticed was our quarterback with his head down, crying. I looked at all the other players. I looked at their faces and our coaches. I walked over to Josh. He didn't even acknowledge I was there. First thing I said to him, I said, "That was a catch." We all know what I'm talking about. He didn't acknowledge me. He just sat there sobbing. He was listless. He had given everything he had to try to win that game. And looking around, so did all the other players on the team. I saw the pain in Josh's face at his presser, and I felt his pain. I know we can do better, and I know we will get better.
I'll say this. Organizations don't fire people for what they've done. They fire people for what they no longer believe can happen next. And I believe that there's been I don't know. The competence can become a ceiling. It just can. And I feel like maybe somewhere, I think there was a bit of a power struggle. I think there are a lot of things that went on that was absolutely ridiculous with this. But with more on all of this is a guy we have come to know and love, and he has a great background tonight. His name is Peter Montemerno. Peter, how are you, sir?
Might as well bring it home for the last game of the year, right?
Yeah, let me try to get you full screen. Yeah, that deserves full screen. I'll do a little asset off. There we go.
Ooh, baby.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
So,
well, I tell you, I love this back. I just figured this out on the app you have here. It's cool. You can do it.
There's a lot. I need to spend a little more time. I'm really realizing all my shortcomings on. I'm realizing more and more, like, these things, they're there to make life easier. I am paying money for this stuff, and I don't know the things very well. And so I got to get to all that. We spent a lot of time, and as we were bringing you on, we heard Terry Pegula's comments at the press conference today. I will say this. It was a shock to me, I don't know about Dan, that they fired Sean McDermott now. I think had they fired Sean McDermott last year, 2 years ago, I feel like the fan base may have been more palatable to them. I don't know. But to me, this was his best coaching job he had done, only because of the roster that he had and where he got them and how those defenses were getting run over in the first half. And somehow, I don't know how, he and his team of coaches led them to really sometimes bend, not break. Right. I mean, it was interesting. So that was shocking to me. Had Brandon Beane gotten fired, I wouldn't have been shocked.
Yeah, I mean that's the sentiment that you're hearing. Majority is saying, right? I, for one, was not shocked, surprised maybe, but not shocked. How many years have the Bills endured this, where they have these, not just a loss, but these. Every loss, you can have a moniker. You know, it's just the organization as a whole. Wide right, home run throwback.
Right.
13 seconds. Right. I'm calling this one the interception.
That's good.
I think by the rules, Peter, that was an interception. If I understand the rules correctly, and I'll try to explain it the way I've heard it explained, and you seem to know this, and Dan seems to know this way better than I do. But from what I understand, in order for it to be a catch, he has to maintain possession through the ground or make a football move after the reception. So when he was down, they're saying he went up and he came down and his knee had touched, but that's not a football move, and then he didn't survive the ground, so therefore it's an interception.
To me, it looks like an interception.
Yeah.
At full speed.
Okay.
When you slow it down and you slow it down and you still picture it, okay, I get the argument.
Okay.
But at full speed, I do not agree with them not stopping the game. I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't like to hear the excuse we had to keep things going. For what?
Well, they were 10 minutes in, 10 minutes late for the next game.
That I hate that answer.
I know, but I feel like I don't think that's been the answer. I think that's been the conspiracy.
Yeah.
I don't believe that that's been the answer. I believe it's the conspiracy.
This is what Walt Anderson said. I don't know if Walt Anderson's still connected to the league.
Yeah. That's what he said?
No.
Dan,
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just saying, like, I heard that from other people, and I went, well, it makes sense, but I haven't heard the league say that.
But I've heard everybody since this say, like from Mike Florio to Albert Breer, the media going, we need more transparency in the booth with the replay officials. We need more transparency. The UFL does it. They do it live.
Yeah.
They go right to to Blandino, and he reviews the call by himself on camera with absolute 100% transparency.
Gene Sarator said this week that he believes that there should be a rule as to what speed they can slow it down to, because when you get to 1/100th, it looks like a catch, or something like that, which was ridiculous. But like, if it didn't survive the ground and it hit the ground, then it's not a reception or an interception, is what I would think. If it didn't survive, right?
It didn't hit the ground, though. That's the thing. The ball never hit the ground.
Okay.
No.
So he never survived the ground with it.
But if you're making a sliding catch and your knee hits the ground, you go out of bounds.
Yes.
What's the football move? When did you make the football move? After you hold possession and your knee hit the ground and then you slid out of bounds? Well, he's sliding, so that's a catch. I mean, we have precedents. My argument is not the replay.
No.
My argument is we have precedent for this.
Great argument.
Again, another reason to bring in a lawyer like Greg and explain. I mean, you have to have precedents for this, and we do. Last year in Kansas City, that was a catch.
Yeah.
This year, it's an interception. Then the next day, and Troy Aikman, everybody, or no, was it Collinsworth?
It was Collinsworth.
Collinsworth alluded to it with the Rams game. Oh, Buffalo.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I feel so bad.
Now it was the Des Bryant catch, right? Non-catch. Now it's the Buffalo catch. Now everybody's going to be thinking every single thing that happens now from here on in, they're going to point back to this interception. Now we're the highlight. Now we're the butt of the joke. Now again and again. But here's my point, and I want to make sure I'm clear on this. You could debate this catch thing until the cows come home. Buffalo played themselves into that position.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
too.
if you allow the referees to throw a chair shot at you, guess what? They will.
They will. And they were in a position where they made the refs relevant.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's unfortunate, and you are correct in that. And Danny, we're talking about this, and most of this podcast is this. Josh Allen was both the worst and the best player on the field that day. your heart breaks for the guy. But let me go to the firing, because that's like the fresher news a little bit here, and it leaves the organization.
Yeah, the game is almost irrelevant now
at this point.
Other than the fact that it was
today. Yeah.
Other than it was the catapult for the firing,
right?
Supposedly.
But winning records can hide stagnation, and they can hide stagnation in business. They can hide stagnation in relationships. I think we can all relate to that. Careers, personal growth. Winning records can hide stagnation. And it does feel like, while there's been a tremendous trajectory from the time Sean McDermott entered One Bills Drive till now, there seems to have been a plateau at some point in every season. And I don't know if that's directly related to him or not. There's been times we've questioned his handling of the clock and all kinds of things. So what do you think?
Game management decisions, handling the clock. I compare him right now to Marty Schottenheimer.
Yeah.
Marty Schottenheimer's never going to see the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
The amount of wins that he had in his career, and everywhere he went, he was able to achieve, right? But Denver crushed him. His heart was broken by Denver a few times when he was in Cleveland.
3 times.
How many times, Danny?
3 times.
3 times, right?
The drive, the fumble, and then they just got beat outright in '89.
Yeah, right. So great coach. Marty Schottenheimer was a great coach, but will he be revered in history as a Hall of Famer? No, and I think McDermott's under the same guys. Unless he continues his career in the NFL, I personally think he's going to go to college.
Really?
That's my personal opinion. Yeah, I do. With the reaction of the players, leader of men, yes, but you're also a leader of petulant children a little bit in the NFL with these contracts they have. And now college has changed a bit, but I see him more of a galvanizing a college team.
That's interesting, because as you say that, I can see it too, Danny.
Yeah, I definitely could see it.
Yeah.
I just don't know if there's a job open right now, unless somebody gets plucked out of college and goes to the NFL.
Right.
That I could see McDermott filling that spot. Because remember, 3 weeks ago there was no openings in college football. Then Michigan, all that situation with Sharon Moore, and the dude from Utah who swore up and down. He's 62 years old. I'm never leaving Utah. Oh, Michigan? Okay. And all of a sudden now Kyle Whittingham is going to resurrect the Wolverines football program. I mean, that's a possibility.
Well, I thought it was interesting in his letter to the Buffalo Bills fans in the community, where he said, "We'll always have a place in our hearts for Buffalo. We'll miss Buffalo." He's gone. He doesn't even want to be here anymore. He doesn't even want to be in the community anymore. That when he said, "We'll miss Buffalo," he's done. You usually hear, we love our community. We're going to stay here for the kids, whatever. He's leaving the community. And that to me was pretty telling. Well,
I can't imagine that this guy isn't going to get a record there. A job there. But here's the thing that I think that a lot of people, and I just to make the connection between sports and life, I think many people, the danger is in mistaking consistency for growth. And while the team has been fairly consistent in making the playoffs and fairly consistent in getting deeper into the playoffs, at least past the wild card, right? For the most part, in the number of years he's been there, there hasn't been the growth. And still, we can say the roster and all that. But to me, I believe explanations under pressure reveal priorities. So much so. And I think that when you've got the owner of the team up there under tremendous pressure, don't forget, they put out a press release late, and it was a fucking disaster with Admiral.
Instead of an admirable job. Which, by the way, admirable job is so understated.
Yes.
Yeah. For a dude who went 98 and 50 and resurrected a franchise. I mean, you want to talk about the opposite of the drought? Sean McDermott was basically almost, if you'd won Super Bowls, that would be the exact opposite of the drought.
Yes.
But they went 17 years without making the playoffs. All of a sudden, he's made the playoffs eight times in 9 seasons, with the one season being a reset year after they made the playoffs the year before with a talentless roster.
100%. But when you're going to put something out, and people go, well, didn't they spell check? Yeah, that's going to come up fine on spell check.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's not a spell check thing. That's a proof
It was spelled
thing.
correctly.
And by the way, here's what other people missed
It's
about
a proofreading thing. How do you, as a high-level organization, let that happen?
Here's the thing. Here's the best part, though. The title said Bills announced the firing of Sean McDermott. Announced. No, the announcement is in the press release.
Right.
So they got it wrong.
Terrible, like an intern.
Right.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
And I've always said, like, media relations and public relations is the bastard child of the journalism industry. It's where all the kids who can't write go to do and be sycophants.
Yeah.
And
You have to fake it. You have to spin it. You have to fake it.
Right.
Yeah.
and that's the evidence right there.
Sure. And look, I feel like Terry got up there and he over-explained things. And I believe this, Peter, and Peter's a business guy as well as a sports-minded guy, and Danny has certainly been around stuff. I wouldn't call you a business guy. I would call you a creative guy. Is that fair?
Yeah.
I did not an insult.
I get it, yeah.
But I just would say I believe credibility erodes when a narrative lags behind the reality. In other words, you fired the guy, you put him out late, and you put out a sloppy press release. That's a sloppy press release.
Right.
No matter what, you can't have Admiral and you can't have, what was it? I didn't catch this part.
Bills announced.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So you can't have that.
Like we did this 20 minutes ago, but here you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Announced to who?
Right. And so I just think when your story isn't ready, trust drains fast. And their story wasn't ready.
I agree with that, Bill, but I look at this today. The optics of this were terrible.
Yeah.
You put an owner out there who never is in, I shouldn't say, rarely is in that situation. All right, this is a major moment in Buffalo Bills history. Major.
Sure it is.
And he's never in front of the press. And yes, he was calm and he delivered well. But it's not going to go well in that forum when you ask an owner who owns the team, and look how polished Brandon Beane is from a pure speaking perspective.
Right.
Terry's not. And I understand Terry, because he made the decision, wanted to be there. And I think the fallback would have been worse if he didn't show up.
Yeah.
But
Agreed.
I did.
Yeah,
I listened to his words, right?
Shit up. Don't interrupt. Don't be. You know what I'm saying? Like, have a little bit.
I get it.
I don't see Robert Kraft doing that. I mean, I know Jerry Jones, but there's a precedent, right? There's a precedent.
Jerry would talk to us.
Yes. Do you understand what I'm saying? But this isn't that. And it's like, come on, man, come off more polished. I look, people don't need to be to make perfect decisions, Peter. I really don't think that, but they need to make coherent ones.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And I don't feel like that was a really coherent
I want
thing.
to dial into something I'm probably splitting hairs here, but I feel like he's a very smart man. Obviously.
Of course he is. He's a billionaire.
He used the word today is the reason why I'm going to paraphrase. The reason why he fired fired Sean was based upon the results of the Denver game. There's one result. It's the loss.
Right. Well, I wonder if he's thrown in the emotional
in the game. Well, here's where I want to go with this. He's not watching the game by himself.
No.
He's watching it with probably Brandon. And when certain things are happening, certain results in the game, someone's out of position, they're not doing the right thing, the assignment was wrong, the pre-snap penalty. I'm telling you, this is not something with those two professionals whose jobs are on the line with this type of game. I think Brandon had a lot to say during the game that stuck with Terry. And then the straw that broke the camel's back was the emotional sieve within in the locker room after that led him to that decision. Right or wrong,
right? That's
what led him to that.
Well,
decision.
I think stress reveals cracks in anything. I really do. Sure, and I would also say sometimes to me, as I thought about the sloppy press release, I go, sloppiness sometimes is rarely accidental. It's almost like they just didn't care in a way. It was time to move on. I feel like there was some real infighting there because we had Rich the Bull Gensler on earlier this week, and he said during that time, I believe this decision was made 5 weeks ago. And then the next day it comes out that there was a meeting 5 weeks ago where Sean said, we don't have the roster to get to the end. And I think he was pointing the finger and blaming Brandon. And so Brandon sat there probably, to your point, you watch the game together and these things come out. But when the moment matters most, the system shows itself. And you can take that to families, you could take that to business, you could take it to institutions, companies, whatever. And I think it sort of showed itself here that there's been infighting between the coach and the GM, who, by the way, were a great tandem. And we believe that Brandon came because of Sean, or Sean wanted Brandon.
But the problem, the wheels were in motion when you have the head coach and the general manager both report to the owner. Yeah. He doesn't really have an experience in the game of football. Coach wants to coach players. That's it. He wants the best players. He wants to coach them. That's it. Doesn't want to deal with the cap. Doesn't want to deal with the business. That's it. A good coach doesn't care about any of that.
Right.
Then you have the GM who handles all that, and really is I often wonder, is a GM necessary?
Sure. I mean, I hear you. Yeah. If you had people that, because everybody's
cap guy.
I think a GM is necessary in this regard. Somebody
now I'm not talking 20 years ago. I'm talking now. In the way that
I still think one is necessary, and here's why. And you're going to see it now with the Bills, whether we like it or not. We didn't expect to see it like this. For most of us, thought that Sean McDermott had the ear of Terry Pegula, that the pecking order went Terry, Sean, Brandon. We have just learned in the last 96 hours that they both directly reported to Terry. Now, that was not disclosed. Nobody knew that. We thought that Sean had the power because Sean was the one who brought in Brandon Beane to be the general manager. Hence, who was the guy with the final say? If the NFL, there's this rule, if let's say if the Bills wanted Mike Tomlin, the Bills would have to offer compensation to the Browns, to the Steelers for Mike Tomlin. Why? Because Mike Tomlin was the decision maker, the official decision maker of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Belichick was the official decision maker of the Patriots. The official decision maker of the Buffalo Bills was Sean McDermott. It wasn't Brandon Beane, okay? So now when Brandon Beane goes out and says, hey, look, I'll get everybody that Sean McDermott wants. Ultimately, Sean McDermott would have the final say if that were the case. Somebody's got to be in charge of the organization and look out long term, because coaches fall in love with players.
Yes.
General managers have to think in longer terms.
Yes.
They can't look, guys. No, we can't just fix this year. We got to think in terms of 2027, 2028. And if you remember, Brandon Beane whiffed on some trades and said he tried, and then goes and volunteers the information to Tom Pelissero that, hey, I was offering a first rounder for 2027. The Dolphins wanted one for 2026, and we're like, and you didn't pull the trigger? You didn't go out and get him? Why is he thinking in longer terms in this case? Unless he had a hunch that somebody was on his way out and he had his mindset on the future.
Well, the point you're showing here, right? Mm-hmm. It was almost like an infighting or an opportunistic.
Yeah.
We see the sloppiness in the press release. We see kind of the, I don't want to say fumbling, but the emotional. I thought Terry Pegula as a leader was emotional there. There was some frustration and anger.
But they made it sound like Sean was persona non grata.
Yes,
they did, and I thought that we all
even
saw
a thank you.
Right.
No. We all saw the cracks back when it was right after the draft when Brandon Beane was asked by the media, "Do you have a Super Bowl caliber roster?" Yes. Asked the same question to McDermott. He said, I love these players.
Right. Yeah, right. So we're seeing the cracks. You got it. And I'm telling you, these aren't separate stories.
Mm-hmm.
They're not separate stories.
No, they're not.
To me, they're the same pattern showing up at different levels.
Right.
You've got the same guys kind of doing the same sort of thing. There's no real communication. There's no great communication before this press release to come out. There's no great communication to pull Terry back a little bit.
And it sounds like, if Bull is correct that they wanted to get rid of this dude, that this decision was made 5 weeks ago. And all of a sudden, this press release comes out. You got two guys who have been elevated. People have been huddling for a while about this. And Terry later said when Brandon B was asked about a power play by Joe Biscaglia from The Athletic, and then Brandon B's talking about how his wife had tears in her eyes, which, way to throw your wife under a bus, jackass.
I couldn't stand that. Don't bring your wife.
Right, don't bring your wife into this. And then Terry...
Hey, Terry, could you tell me how she sounded?
And then Terry's like, Terry's like, if anybody tries to pull a power play with me, they're out. I wonder if if they looked at it and said, Sean's trying to pull a power play here.
Yeah.
And that's why they fired. But then just come out and say it. Come out and say that. But they didn't do that.
But to me, there was no real emotional containment in this. And I think when that happens, chaos kind of follows. Performance follows.
Okay, that's fair. Mm-hmm. But there's only one person I trust, I guess multiple people on a team, when it comes to evaluating talent. And that's I think the coaching staff. Because they're with the players every single day, day in and day out.
I agree.
I understand the GM has to pick, but there has to be a synergy between your GM and your coach. Has to be. It goes back to the Bill Parcells quote. If you're going to how did that quote go, Danny? You're better with the quote than I am.
Which one? Was it like, if you're going to let the guy cook the meal, you might want to let him buy the groceries? Is that the one? Yeah. Or is it, you are what your record says you are?
Not one. The groceries part.
Right.
So you got to have, you don't have if you do not have an agreement on a roster, that is a recipe for disaster.
Can I talk a little bit about
the thing was scary today, but in any event.
Can I talk a little bit about the groceries real quick?
Sure.
The last 5 plays of this game. You ready for this? Listen to these groceries, okay? You had Mecole Hardman drop a pass. It was a little low, but it was catchable, right?
Catch it.
Right. The guy was not on an NFL roster until he signed with the Bills this year, okay? Right. And it was a desperation signing. Then Brandon Cooks, the interception, right? Say what you want, the ball was ripped out of his chest. Okay, that's another guy that they had to get as a cast-off, as a free agent. Then the next play, which is Denver's ball, RJ Harvey breaks off a 20-yarder, and Shaq Thompson, another cast-off signing, gets juked out of his socks. Then Joey Bosa, if Taron Johnson doesn't get called for pass interference, Joey Bosa is going to get nailed for a 15-yarders for unsportsmanlike conduct, roughing the passer. Those were the guys.
Only a 17-yard penalty. Joey's would have been 15. They're in field goal range right there.
Right. And then I didn't think that was a pass interference with Trey White. But either way, those were 5 guys that shouldn't be on the roster were on the roster because you can't draft. And those 5 guys helped bury you in Denver on Saturday night.
Well, this was my feeling, and that a lot of the guys who were starting for Buffalo wouldn't be starters on other NFL rosters. And despite all that, that's why I said it was the best coaching job McDermott had done.
Yeah.
They went to overtime, and I get it, 5 turnovers. Josh played awful. Then he played great, right? I don't know.
And I did like what Bean said today about, because I think in McDermott's scheme, they tried to fit the player into the scheme.
Yes.
I did like what Bean said. You're going to have a coach that may come in here and say, we got to run a 3-4, and here's why. And then we got to run more of a zone running scheme instead of a gap running scheme, and here's why. I respect that.
Yeah.
That's a GM listening to a head coach. If McDermott dug his heels in on that, I respect that too. But at some point there's a miss. Right. He says, we're going to run this, but you got to draft guys that are like this, and it's not working. I mean, the worst I watched the film last night, way too long. The worst player on the field.
Yeah.
I know we talked about Josh Allen being the worst player and the best player. The worst player on the field, I will go to Grace saying it, and I'll show you proof of it, was Joey Bosa. Awful. Absolutely, unequivocally horrible, because he's doing his 111th. He wasn't performing his 111th. He wasn't doing his job. He was trying to do way too much. He was out of position. He was doing things that should, this far into the season.
Yeah.
Why isn't the coach being held accountable? Why? For defensive line play like that. Ed Oliver, same thing. Yeah, he hasn't played in a while, but he understands what gap integrity is. He wasn't performing at a high level. They're opening up wide passing lanes for Knicks to step up and see the entire field, because Bosa decides to go inside with no help in the outside. Yeah. And we're not talking about a stunt.
No.
When the stunt's happening, it was egregious how poorly Bosa played.
So when I'm hearing you talk, in my mind, I go, okay, so the the Bills didn't collapse. What happened here is they revealed the limits of their current system.
Yeah.
Right? The limits of your current system. Even to your point where's the coach not kind of grabbing Bosa by the face mask? I don't think you're going to do that to a professional player. It used to happen to me. But they would drag you by the face mask or at least pull you aside and go, Bosa, what are we doing? This is what we're seeing. And show him. They have the tablets. They've got the stuff. Show them.
Right. You're seeing it in real time.
Yeah.
I mean, I was so angry last night watching it.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what the coaches are because and again, it's not the first time this has happened. This has happened throughout the entire season. So why aren't the coaches, D-line coach, defensive coordinator, Sean McDermott, holding some coach accountable for their players' play? Position coach, number one. I don't get that.
Question for you. I wondered, and I don't know, and I'm going to still have him as number one on my next coach of the Buffalo Bills, followed by I have a number two. And the first one is, does Joe Brady, who's been interviewed, and a lot of people go, whoa, hang on. He's been interviewed for head coaching jobs by 2 or 3 other teams. I don't know how far into the interview process he's gotten. But could there be things where we know there was fighting between Sean McDermott and Brian Daboll? I think at one point it caught it, but I had heard that there was like a disagreement there.
Yeah, that's
and
exactly
I wonder if Sean was like not allowing, because Sean McDermott, if you look at him, he seems a little uptight or tight.
Yeah,
he keeps things close to the vest. I think that translates to the style of coaching he had. They played tight.
That's how his team played.
Yes.
The rub against the Bills have been they play tight.
And I do. So, like, when we say I could see him being fired last year, but this year I didn't expect it. That's it. However, well, here we are. Does somebody who knows the players, has a great relationship with Josh, is already in the building, you've got an organization that's promoting people anyway, is Joe Brady the worst pick for a head coach, offensive-minded head coach? Do we know the capabilities of this guy? I didn't know the capabilities of McDaniels, and I'm hearing he's an offensive genius from people.
I want to see more of a feel for the game, and I don't get that from him.
Okay.
And what I mean by that, I'll give you an example. It's a small example, but when you look at the turnover, the sack, was it the sack? No, when Walker got the interception.
Okay.
Defensive lineman Walker intercepted it in Denver territory in the third quarter. Right. The next play, this is called a sudden change. That's the terminology teams used. Sudden change. You know, the offense flies out there. They weren't prepared. It was a turnover. The old adage is go for the end zone. Momentum is on your side. Go for it. He throws a bubble screen for a 5-yard loss.
Right.
And then the next play, Josh Allen throws an interception at the 5-yard line. It's the feel of the game. I don't feel that this coaching staff and all of the individuals in it had a feel for situational football. And that was the biggest rub against this staff this year. And that was just one example of many I could probably speak to, but I'd have to sit down and
well, I mean, look, as I said before, you know, this all revealed the limits of their current system. And I think the question, is this still working, shows up everywhere, right? I mean, that shows up everywhere.
I think you need a coach that's going to drive Josh Allen. I don't want a friend.
Yeah.
I want him to be driven.
Is that
another level for him?
Is that a Brian Daboll?
Yes, I could see that.
Yeah, me too.
I wouldn't be. He knows the building. He knows the culture.
And he knows Josh, and he was there for Josh's ascension.
He really helped build Josh Allen. There's no question. More than Dorsey did, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, Dorsey was the QB coach, but it was Dave. I remember Josh Allen having an interview talking about how Daboll got, you know, in his ear and screaming at him. And, you know, I think Josh needs that a little bit. I still think he's a little bit of a puppy dog. And I don't think he'll fold under that. I personally don't want a young guy. I want a seasoned coach that will demand excellence out of everybody. They just got to get over the hump, you know, but there's more to it than that. They're close, but they're not that close. I don't know.
They've plateaued.
They're close, but they're not that close.
I feel like they've hit a plateau. I really do. It's like, they're just not getting over, as we say, the proverbial hump. Who would that be in your mind, or do you have a name, Peter? Head coach wise.
Coach?
Yeah.
Dable.
Okay.
Dable will be one guy, and then who's the guy in Minnesota right now? The DC.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. He's suing the NFL still. He was the head coach.
Yeah.
He was the head coach at Brian Flores. Brian Flores.
Yeah, Flores.
Yeah. I've heard so many names today. Unfortunately, I think who's the stopgap between Rex Ryan and
Anthony Lynn.
Sean McDermott? I don't even know. And that's another thing. Get rid of this Rooney Rule. I mean, come on. To me, I think it's racist as it is. And you're talking, the NFL's hypocritical. I mean, they're just giving these token interviews to appease a rule. Come on. It's about the body of work, your product, not the color of your skin. But in any event, I'm probably going to catch flack for that, but I don't really care because I believe in it. And I think that the names on that list, Bill, like they talk about this genius in Jacksonville, 30 years old. I don't want that right now for Josh. I don't want a buddy. I don't want a guy who's going to – It's got to be a professional – like Belichick and Brady didn't hang out.
No.
I don't think Josh Daniels and Brady hung out, right? I think it was all professional, it was all business, and then it resulted in how many championships?
If you could spot the next McVay, then yes, I'm all for it. Whether that's Clint Kubiak or whether that's Grant Udinsky, we don't know. And nobody expected McVay to be McVay. He came out of Washington. It was kind of a surprise hire that all of a sudden the Rams take off. He's got Jared Goff playing football. We're like, whoa, this guy must really know his stuff. You never know who you're going to uncover. I would try to interview everybody. That's not going to be possible considering the way the playoffs are going to go out. But I did hear somebody say today, you got to get somebody with a ring. Okay, that is a very select list of people. If I name them, you'd be like, well, I don't want that guy. Well, I don't want that guy. Well, I don't want that guy. I mean, Gruden's never going to coach in the NFL again. He's got a lawsuit against the league right now, and it's making traction. Okay? It's not going to be John Gruden. Bill Belichick, he's become a train wreck, all right? Mike Tomlin, you got to trade for him. It'll be like worse than having McDermott because he's not that guy. The dude in Philadelphia.
I wouldn't want Belichick's girl anywhere near Orchard Park.
No. It would be a disaster.
Situation.
And then there's the dude from who won the Super Bowl with Philadelphia, Peterson. He flamed out in Jacksonville. He's not the answer either. Who you got left? Bill Cowher. Bill Cowher hasn't coached in 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, what do we say? Oh, and then McCarthy with Green Bay and Dallas.
Well, he already got hired. Mike McCarthy got hired by the Steelers.
Oh, he is the Steelers head coach.
Yeah.
Oh, that's official.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure.
I didn't know that. So I mean,
they're not going to the playoffs next year. So Bruce Arians.
I would love Bruce Arians. But I don't think Bruce Arians at 73 years old wants to come to Buffalo.
Pat McAfee's show yesterday. He trashed Bean in it. So I don't know if that's going to be. He's been retired for 5 years.
Bill, they're the laughing stock of the league right now.
Well, this is what I'm saying. It's like, again, but it's at every level, right? It's the same pattern at every level. And it feels like the same kind of pattern that we've seen with Buffalo for years.
Yeah, it's Russ, Brandon, Bean.
Yeah.
But remember when McDermott got hired?
Yes.
Everybody's like, who's
this
gonna
guy?
want this job?
Yeah. Right.
Who's going to want this job?
Right,
it was awful after Rex left. It was a circus. It was Banana Republic.
Yep.
And McDermott had leverage.
Yep.
He's like, I want to report to you. You're gonna get a GM. Remember, Whaley was fired the day after the draft.
Mm-hmm.
So they used him for the draft. You wonder if this is possible here.
No, it's not.
Where you don't think so?
No, they wouldn't have elevated him to team president. He said said today he's still going to run the draft. He's still going to be the general manager. So they're not going to bring in a GM underneath Brandon Bean. Brandon Bean is now they've only had 5 team presidents in history, and Brandon Bean is now the 5th.
All right.
It's not an impressive list.
Peter, any closing comments? I know our friend Juice, looking like a lumberjack, has been sitting here for a while. I ran into technical problems, and it delayed us a little bit. But
no, I appreciate you guys letting me do this every week. It's been
I love it when you're on. Yeah.
Hopefully, next year you want me back and back in the new stadium, new coach, Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think Danny, you said it. After seeing Josh, the way he reacted
on the podium,
Super Bowl next year.
They're winning a Super Bowl
not
next year.
Not hyperbole either.
No.
Super Bowl next year.
Okay.
No doubt.
All right. I love it. I love it. And I think I've been leaning either Brady followed by Dable. Maybe I'll switch that order. Dable, and if not Dable, Brady. I don't know why. I just, in my head, I'm going, I could see that happening. I don't think it's the right thing, but what do I know?
I'll tell you after this week, whatever we thought we know, throw it out the window. We don't know jack.
That's true.
We don't know anything.
All right, we'll talk to you, Peter. Let's have you on sometime in the off season, and I think that here's something I noticed, and just mull this over in your mind. I'm seeing like where players in a lot of the leagues have become buddy-buddy. They've got jersey exchanges. They work out together in the offseason. They do all that. But slowly but surely, that competitive go fuck yourself is coming back.
I hope so.
And it's being led by what I believe is, or not what I believe, or who was the number one draft pick in the 2018 draft that included Josh Allen. And that would be Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield put out a tweet about Kevin Stefanski going, I didn't even get a reason, a thank you, not a fucking thing from that guy. And I was shipped off unceremoniously. I'm paraphrasing. I think he said like a load of shit or something. And it was Deshaun Watson who they decided was going to be the answer to this. We know how that worked out. And he goes, I can't wait to see you twice a season, coach, because he is now the head coach, Kevin Stefanski, of the Atlanta Falcons. And right? And so there is something about that kind of that I think is starting to kind of come back in the league. I thought this
America's healing, Billy.
Don't you? I thought there was more I thought there was chippiness in these games. I thought there was more guys getting at each other.
I'm sick of the end of the game. You lose a game and you're on the field. You're shaking hands.
I think it's amazing that you can do that. I just never had it in me to be that like kumbaya. And, look, some guys can. And probably always could, but it's those other guys, those warriors. I mean, you just spilled your guts out there, And I think there even a fight in one of the games that led over to the sideline, and they're trying to separate players. And
oh yeah. I mean, they're getting.
I've seen more of that.
I want to see more WWE style promos too before and after games.
Remember, there used to be fight in camp every summer.
There were. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Players.
Yeah.
That bring it back.
Bring it
back.
All right, Peter. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Peter.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you. All right, we'll take a moment. I apologize to Juice. We'll get to Juice right after this. Ever look at your wall and think, that hole definitely wasn't there yesterday? Or maybe your faucet's got a drip that's slowly driving you into madness. That's when you got to call my buddies at Mac of All Trades. Because it's your home. And if you don't have the skills to fix it yourself, go to the people who do. And trust me, there's nobody better than Mac of All Trades. They do everything. Leaky faucet, they got it. Drafty windows and doors, done. Electrical, plumbing, carpentry, sure. Full kitchen or bath remodel, oh yeah, they'll do that too. From patching the hole that someone made by definitely not slamming the door, to transforming your entire space. Mac of All Trades gets it done quickly and the right way. Stop putting up with cold drafts and half-finished to-do lists. Give them a call at 585-202-9218 or find them online at macofalltrades.net. Get started on that to-do list today. Mac of All Trades. No job too small. New year. Same nervous system doing parkour at 3 a.m. Yeah, well, we've all been there. If stress has set up permanent residence in your shoulders and anxiety RSVP'd yes again, maybe it's time to call in the big guns or the galactic grandmother. I want you to meet my friend Sheila Tillich, recovery metaphysician, energy healing wizard, and professional finder of the issues in your tissues. Sheila helps you release stored stress, emotional gunk, and energetic blocks you didn't even know you were carrying. I want you to think less white-knuckling life and more inner peace with snacks. Her compassionate, down-to-earth approach helps you reset, rebalance, and finally exhale without chanting in the cave, unless that's what you're into. No judgment. So why take another year of suffering when you could be feeling lighter, calmer, and actually okay? Unlock your best self, find your balance, and maybe stop arguing with your own nervous system. Learn more and book your session at SheilaTillich.com. Because peace of mind is way cooler than burnout. said to Dan while we were getting ready to bring Juice on here, I said that I do feel bad for a player that I think if you can do your Greg Connors impression, I want you to go off on me Greg Connors style for what I'm about to say. If there's a player I feel bad for beyond Josh Allen, I feel a little bit bad for Keon Coleman. Now, he didn't show up to practices, and so that's why he was suspended.
Shut up late, Billy.
He didn't have a great season. But to have everybody, like the owner of the team, grab the mic during a press conference, pull it over, and go, he didn't want, GM Brandon Beane didn't want Coleman, right? If I'm Keon Coleman, I hope that lights a fire under his fucking ass, and then he comes back and goes, how you like me now? How you like me now?
I hope you're right. And I hope, do you want me to answer as Greg Connors?
Yeah, well, Greg Connors just would always go, hey, what is wrong with you? You guys.
Here's the problem, Billy. He's going to train with Ocho Cinco. I hope he lights a fire under. But, as a former defensive back, I see some technique issues with Keon that needs to work on. I mean, he dropped a touchdown. It wouldn't have counted anyway, but he did drop a touchdown in the end. I mean, that was a shot. Now, he got another one.
Oh, God. I don't know.
I just can't believe they actually think this is a Super Bowl caliber roster. I just can't get my head around that. Something else must have happened for them to dismiss McDermott and issue a crappy press release, send a thank you over social media 24 hours later, and then do another video 24 hours after that. It's like it took you that long to compile this stuff?
This is what I'm saying. That, too,
is part of the crappy operation.
Is sloppiness.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's accidental. I think that was a middle finger.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that no organization wants to be called out for having admiral instead of admirable. And what was the other one?
Oh, they announced. The Buffalo Bills announced that Sean McDermott is, and they're doing it in the announcement, which is right. I mean, that's just grammar 101.
Right, but I know like these things are rushed. It's quick. There's a lot of pressure. People are going quick, and if you run it through spell check, every one of those words comes out spelled correctly. You got to do your job beyond that. This is where I think AI won't take over the world always, although AI probably would have fixed that or wrote it better. I just think that those things aren't necessarily accidental. I think in a way, subconsciously or something else, it is a middle finger to Sean McDermott because you were the guy saying, this wasn't my fault. You gave me shitty players. I don't know.
But both things can't be true. Either he was a hell of a job and he had a crappy roster, or he had a great roster and he did a crappy job. Yeah. Okay, so just come out and say that. They could, but here we are.
Juice Fields looking like a lumberjack today. Hello, Juice. How are you?
Cold out there.
I know. You look good, though. I like it. You could be out there chopping wood and drinking the beers. I know we're running a little late. I ran into some technical difficulties here in the studio with power.
All good. We're good.
How'd you do last week? I didn't really pay attention. I was so sort of bummed out about the loss that I didn't focus on much else.
Dan, how'd we do?
Actually, I'm trying to look that up right now.
Well, you did say the Rams.
And I did say the Rams.
I was nervous, and the Rams did get it.
You said the under with the Bills game, so that was a loss because they definitely went over.
Yeah, Blake Corum did not score a touchdown.
He did not. I was very disappointed. I was looking forward to that. I put money on that, and I didn't.
And I was on the Texans. I didn't know C.J. Stroud sucked so bad.
You
didn't watch the previous game?
He's been terrible.
It's interesting, right? How guys perform in big moments. And one of the most exciting plays of the entire 2025, now 2026 season. What happened?
Juice went 1-4.
Because the Rams, that was 3.5. I lost by the hook, huh?
Yeah, the Rams lost. Corum didn't score. The Bills went over.
Because we lost on another miracle. Caleb Williams freaking throw.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. That was a fucking amazing.
That cost us.
And
that cost us. That was one.
To me, that's a guy.
They don't get that in.
You're not getting that with C.J. Stroud.
Oh, he was terrible.
Well, no, C.J. Stroud's got intercepted for a pick six.
Right.
He did the same exact thing.
But I mean, look, what that moment, that thing, it was just like, that couldn't have been a scripted play. That had to be something where it's just like, fuck, we got to do this.
Caleb Williams did the same thing at USC. He would just avoid tackles, just get out of all types of situations, find an open guy and just freaking chuck it. But That situation there, though, there were 4 Ram guys going after him, and he stepped back, threw it off his back leg, and the guy was wide open. So it was a breakdown of coverage of the Rams, too, that nobody came and batted that ball down or intercepted. Was just beyond me. And that was quite a scene at Soldier Field. That was really cool to see.
What is that? Who's tapping the
neat.
fingers? Oh, just be careful. I it's driving me nuts. I was like,
I heard it too.
I was looking over. I go, well, it isn't Danny. All right, that's all right. Just sorry.
We on?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
It might be your chair.
Right.
No, he was drumming.
Oh, he was drumming. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was me touching the football. My bad.
That's all right.
I'm picking it up. You know why? Because I keep a mic down below. That's my fault.
Oh, look at that! I didn't know you had a mic like that.
Yeah. How we doing?
We're doing good.
Check 1 2 1 2.
You sound great with that way. Yeah. Do you have a mic stand?
No.
All right. We should get
sitting on a beer can.
We should get. We should get you a mic stand. That would be pretty good. You get a nice setup down there. I'll get you a mic stand. All right. Well, so now we're to the NFC Championship game, AFC Championship game.
Only 3 games left, guys. Enjoy it. Only 3 football.
I'll tell you what. I don't know. This is the first time in my life where I'm like, I don't think I can watch another game, and I did not watch like the first half, maybe 3/4 of the New England game. And
you didn't miss anything. It was awful.
And then I turned it on and I saw the results. You know, it just came down. And then I did have the Chicago game on while I was doing other things. And I did catch that Caleb Williams. And I went, man, maybe this kid is as good as advertised, or as good as he has advertised himself, right? He said a lot of, some people will probably say cocky, but it's certainly confident. Mm-hmm. Certainly confident. So,
sure. And they went out, they got him a bunch of weapons. DJ Moore, Luther Burden, Colston Loveland. Like, that team's going to be good for a while, and they're all young. They got Caleb Williams on a rookie deal right now, so this is the time to do it. And the Bears are going to be really good for the next few years for sure.
So who do you like in the, do we start AFC or NFC?
Yeah, start with the NFC.
All right. Who do you like in
NFC,
Seattle?
That's the second game though. Let's hit the AFC first. Right. NFC's the second game.
Oh, the NFC, because everybody hates the Patriots.
All right, so we got New England and the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
The Denver
They
Broncos
every year.
The Denver Broncos without Bo Nix, because at the end of the game in overtime, I think that's when he broke his ankle.
So this is the first AFC Championship game in like 25 years that you're not going to have Brady, Mahomes, Roethlisberger, Manning, or Josh Allen in the game, which is insane. And instead, you're going to get Jared Stidham,
right,
and
Drake May.
Drake May.
Drake May.
And what's even crazier, with how freaking nuts this season has been, Sam Darnold's got an oblique injury, right? If he were to ever get hurt in that game Sunday, in the next game, could you imagine a Super Bowl if both these teams win? Jared Stidham versus Drew Lock for the Super Bowl.
It's like a NASCAR. It's like a NASCAR race.
No, but that's like the greatest.
That would be
Jared
unbelievable.
Stidham versus Drew Lock.
Well,
Here they come around to the final third. That's amazing. Yeah. Well, look, Stidham was a backup behind Brady in New England for many years, and there were a lot of people, mostly fans that I had heard of, wanted Stidham to replace Brady, stick with him, and they didn't.
And not many people know this, but when Sean Payton got to Denver, Stidham was his first free agent acquisition. He was the first guy that he picked up.
Okay,
so they're going to be ready. They're going to be ready to go.
I think so.
On Sunday, which brings us to our first pick: Denver Broncos plus. It's 4.5 now. It was 5.5. The line has moved. But we're going to take the Denver Broncos plus 4.5 on Sunday. And a few things here. With everybody being out, everybody's rushing to take New England. Now they're going to say, oh my God, a backup quarterback. We got to take, New England's been killing everybody, which whatever, rightfully so. However, all the pressure now shifts to New England for this game, because if Nix was starting, they would be like probably -2. So now he's out, and all of a sudden now it's the Patriots opened at plus 5.5. So you're telling me that Bo Nix was worth like 7 points to the spread? That's like Josh Allen in Pat Mahomes type numbers. That there's no way. So on a numbers game alone, we got to take the Denver Broncos plus 4.5. Sean Payton's going to have some wrinkles. There's no tape on him, so you're going to see, he's going to chuck the ball, and they're going to keep this close for sure. That defense will be able to keep them in this game.
But you don't think that who wins straight up? I know we're betting the spread here, but who do you think wins straight up, Danny?
I think the Patriots win.
Yeah,
Straight up.
Straight up, I would lean New England just because. But I mean, it would not shock me if Denver won this. But if you're going to give me 4.5 over the money line, I'll take 4.5 all day. Just because, I mean, statistically speaking, and you can't. I mean, New England has played the easiest schedule in 25 years. Now they're playing another backup quarterback in the AFC Championship game. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better setup for them.
This is true, except that Mile High. Which
it is. So that's what I'm saying.
Wonder.
Nothing's it's a tough place to play. I think even back with the Brady years and Brady Manning AFC Championship games when Manning was in Denver, the Patriots always had a tough time playing out there. So it would not shock me if
you're basically at sea level in Foxborough, and you're Mile High.
Yeah.
And people do question, did Josh Allen make bad decisions in the game because of the altitude, like just not getting enough oxygen as usual? I don't know if that's necessarily true. It was just
not to poke the bear with that game, though, and this is the only thing I'll say, but that was an interception.
By the rule, and I think everybody agreed on that, like in this room.
I thought it was a catch.
You did?
Seriously, because that's just a catch.
Oh, you're saying by precedent. You were saying by precedent that is a catch. By precedent this season. Yeah. I was going more by the rule. I think it did, and Peter too. But I think for you, we're like, yeah, by the rule, but that's not how they've been calling it all season, which is fair. So I don't know. But either way, as you said, it shouldn't come down to the refs.
Yeah, don't ever let the refs chair shot you, because they will. I use that reference because it's a wrestling reference, but
no,
that's what happens.
All right, so we go down to the NFC, where you've got the Rams and by the way, the two quarterbacks, Drake May and what's his name with the Rams, up for MVP.
Yeah, Matt Stafford.
Matt Stafford, 37 years old, going against Sam Darnold.
There was talk that he wasn't even going to play this year because his back was so messed up.
You got it. And he had a pretty damn good season.
His back has held up. He didn't miss a game all year. So to me, I think Matt Stafford's the MVP in terms of yards, interceptions, touchdowns. I mean, he's got them all. But now they all put EPA and all this other crap into the MVP voting. But so who knows if May will get it? But if I was voting, I would give it to Stafford.
I think Stafford gets it. I do. I think he gets it over May. I think May doesn't have the body of work that Stafford has. I think
he's played a tougher. Stafford's schedule is twice as hard as Drake May's, and who's he went up against? He's went up against that Seattle team twice this year. Last time being, they put up 600 yards of offense without Devontae Adams and his left starting guard. So
and that was
week 16.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So that was during the regular season.
Yeah, it was on Prime. It was a great game.
Yeah, it was a great game.
Both of their games, they played obviously twice. They both split. The Rams won by 2 in the game that they won, and Seattle won by 1 in the game they won. So you couldn't ask for more even matchup. This game is football porn. It's going to be fucking awesome.
All right.
This game is going to be. It is.
Football,
I mean, that's,
this is the Super Bowl, I think, this game right here.
Oh, whoever, 100%. If you could get a bet in for like the NFC winning the Super Bowl, do it, because whoever wins coming out of this game is going to beat either Denver or New England. I'll empty the clip on that.
Okay. So who do you have? I get from your talk that maybe straight up you like the Rams, but with the spread, I don't know.
We don't even need the spread here. We are taking the Rams plus 130 on the money line. Lay the 2.5 points, leave it on the shelf. You're not going to need them. We're Stafford and McVay. They are going to win this game. The Rams, I just think, are the better team. They're more complete. And we're looking at Sam Darnold on the other side. We are waiting for that ghost game, and I think we're going to see it on Sunday. I just don't see him shown up. Their offense has not been great the last 5 weeks. They've relied on their defense and special teams, which I'll give it to them. They have the advantage in this game, but you're going to have to score some points on Sunday, and I don't think that they're going to be able to do that.
I would be very upset if Sam Darnold gets the opportunity to win a Super Bowl before Josh Allen. When Sam Darnold was the 3rd pick overall in the 2018 draft, but bounced around.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened.
He and Baker Mayfield were both considered busts.
Was Baker, I guess?
Baker was a bust.
Is he?
He was a bust. Baker went from Cleveland to Carolina to L.A. to Tampa. I mean, you're a number 1 overall pick, and you played on 4 different teams.
Right.
By the way, he didn't make the playoffs this past year. He wants to talk all this smack about Stefanski.
Yeah.
Bucs didn't make the playoffs. I don't want to hear it.
I kind of like it, though.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like it.
Today's press conference was not good, but man, it was entertaining.
Yes. I mean, and the other part with that, too, with Baker, I always go, Baker made a mistake in Cleveland. When he got hurt trying to tackle the interception or whatever happened there, he should have taken himself out, and he didn't. He tried to play through a pretty brutal injury and did okay, but that's a tough one. And I think it played him out of there. And I don't think anybody was really. I think he'd still be in Cleveland had he sat down. I really do. But look. Whatever. The guy's got he's a freaking stud when he needs to be. I know that they haven't won and got to the playoffs, but I think there's something about him that anytime he's on the field, don't count him out.
No, can't.
And a lot of times the losses, even the wins, were by a pubic hair.
You could make an argument that Tampa Bay would have beaten the Bills had they gone for it on that 4th down, not punted the ball away, and the Bills just came back and ran. I think they had the punt return for the touchdown. And they would have run with it. Yeah. But I mean,
he had to play so good just to barely win games. Like, they were just off. So for him to say that, and I think Stefanski's a great coach. I think he's going to do really well in Atlanta. If the Giants didn't land Harbaugh, Stefanski was my next. That's who I wanted. I mean, he won 1 or 2 Coach of the Year in Cleveland.
He won twice.
Yeah, he won
twice. And look who he had. He's had nobody other than a stellar defense, but offensively, he's had fucking nothing.
Right. So you're taking the Rams. So we got a Rams New England Super Bowl potentially
rematch of 2001.
Yes, and the winner will be, in your estimation,
Los Angeles Rams. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well,
and I mean, Seattle looked so good on Sunday and beat the shit out of the Niners, and we saw that coming. But no team looks as good as they did the week before. So I just think there's a huge misperception that, oh my God, the Seattle, this defense, and I love the Rams on Sunday. That game's going to be awesome, and we're going to be locked and loaded for that. And a little no, do you know who Sam Darnold's grandfather is?
I do not.
The Marlboro Man, the guy from the
I didn't know
60s,
that.
70s ads. Yep.
Really?
Dick Hammer.
What's his name?
Dick Hammer.
Oh God, that's the greatest stage name ever. Was he a porn star before he was the Marlboro Man and just didn't make it?
Yeah, he's the dude. All like the ads with the the cowboy hat and the dude with mustache. That's Sam Darnold's grandfather.
Danny's looking it up.
So I'm looking it up because the Marlboro Man came to my school to give a talk about why smoking is bad.
Oh, they probably hired somebody. Dare did that. Remember Dare?
Yes, I do. But Sam Darnold.
How'd that work out?
So his name is Dick Hammer.
Right? Richard Hammer?
Yeah, no, but Dick Hammer. You got to call it so. I mean, what a great name, Dick Hammer.
What do you find it, Danny?
Dick Hammer, Richard Bernard Hammer, was an American athlete, firefighter, and actor.
He was in the Olympics.
Yeah, he was also he portrayed the Marlboro Man in print advertisements in the 1970s.
Let me see. Do you have a picture?
Yeah.
Yo, dude.
He looks
hold it up to the camera.
He looks like a young Tony Robbins.
Oh yeah, but do they have him as the Marlboro Man?
No, they don't have that picture. They have him playing basketball.
Okay.
Look, go into your old Playboys in the 70s, and
I don't have any of those. Okay.
Come on.
My mom threw them all out. No, I don't know. What would Dick Hammer?
Dick Hammer. You love that.
I love the name. Oh my God. If I went to school with a kid named Dick Hammer, that's it. And boy, you better fucking live up to it or else, he gets in. Oh, Dick Hammer as the Marlboro Man. Yeah. He's got a Clint Eastwood kind of look to him.
He does.
As the Marlboro Man. The mustache, he looks much more like Sam Darnold there. But,
I don't even know if Sam met him. He died like right after Darnold was born. But that's definitely his grandfather.
Yeah, he was 3 years old when he died, or 2 years old when he died.
So Dick Hammer was. Tell me, what did he die of, please? Somebody tell me.
Lung cancer.
No fucking shit.
That's what he died. 69 years old.
Oh shit.
69 years old.
Fuck.
69 years old. Dick Hammer died of lung cancer. The Marlboro Man.
Oh, come on. Well, you know what, Dick? You look good. You look good for a little while. I don't know. Looks tough.
Jeez.
I don't know. I mean, let's cigarette every once in a while. I mean, I get it. You know, it's all right. Why is it not that bad? You go fucking breathe in China. Tell me you're not.
You know, you got to be 21 to buy cigarettes now. By the way.
Yeah.
Really? When they changed that? I thought it was always 18.
No,
it was 18
I think it's 21. I thought it's been 21 for a while. I thought it was.
Yeah,
and actually, I thought they started that in New York City, and then it worked its way out to the rest of the state. I don't think it's a federal. I think it's a state law.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. How did you find out? Somebody carded you when you were going to buy some Marlboro?
No. Some kid, I was at the gas station getting something. And he's like, "Oh, it's my 18th birthday." I was like, "Dude," go out and get some porn and buy some, tobacco, get a pack of cigarettes.
Wow,
like,
what a great influence! This is amazing. You know this kid? Did you know him?
And Lotto, and I told him Lottos because I bought him a Lotto ticket, and I said, "Now go out and get some porn and some cigarettes, or
Did you make sure?
He's like, "I can't. That's 21." I'm like, 21? I'm like, since when? He's like, "Oh, it's always been." And I had no clue when they changed that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Wow, that's funny.
Yep.
Did you tell him to go register for selective service?
And I should have told him to vote too, but
Way to go. Way to fucking go. You have an opportunity to lift our country up a little bit by getting into the mind of a young man. And what do you tell him to do? Go for the vices, kid. Go for the vices.
I would like to think that he went to Show World the next day.
Yeah, well, he may have. Do you have to be 8? Yeah, you got to be 18 to go in there, right? I'm trying to remember when they used to have the VHS rentals and the dirty movie room with the beads.
Wasn't there one on Monroe Ave too?
Oh yeah, there was. Yes, there was at the time. Yes, Show World, I think. But I thought there were signs like in my shithole town. I think it said you had to be 18 to get in there. I think they had that. Because I'm going, who wants to be because, could you imagine all of a sudden you're working there in a small town and all of a sudden, you try to go in there, you're all excited. Bobby, I know you're not 18. I'm going to tell your mom. That's what would happen in Pine Plains. I swear to God. It would be. And it would be weird, too, when we were around. Like, I told this the other night. But, like, you saw teachers coming out of there. You saw your friend's older brother. You ran into a buddy's dad. Never a woman in there. It was always these guys. Somebody was recently divorced. Hey, fellas. And then my dad went, and I was homesick, and he was renting me movies. And he rented, yeah, this is true, Blockbuster. And he was so mad. I'm going to forget the name of the movie. Whatever it was a superhero. And they had like a play on the name of the superhero. So it was, I'm forgetting, but I just remember he pops it in and he leaves. And I'm in the recliner laid back and I watch it and all of a sudden they're on a plane and they're flying and it gets hit by like a ray gun and the entire plane like glows in the air and everybody in the plane just stops. And the stewardess is in the middle of the aisle, and she just starts ripping off her clothes, and everybody starts fucking. And my old man comes back and, whoa, what is this? Oh, yeah, I did not. It was Flash Gordon. And he got Flesh Gordon. And he goes, I rented Flash Gordon. They need to check these things. God damn it. That's the problem that kids are missing out today. You don't get that anymore. There aren't those mistakes. Amazing. You don't get it.
That is amazing.
And no kid sitting through anything. They're not sitting through it. Like sometimes there was like a lead up, there'd be a story. It was cheesy, it was shitty, it was poorly acted, but it was fucking vintage. And that's what I'm saying. And you know what? Not only that, it wasn't just fucking vintage. Hang on a second. I need some music behind me on this one.
Hit the chimes, Billy.
No, I need I need some good old fashioned Americana marching music. Hang on. I got to get this right. We got to do this. Here we go. It marches by Sousa. Let's see what we got. Let me tell you something. Back in those days, this is what these kids are missing out on. Crappy storylines, bad acting, people who spend too much time in a fucking tanning booth, right? But they told you a story. You had a chance to actually hear the story. That was the thing. You had people that were there, that were acting. It was American. What's more American than porn? I can't really think of it. I mean,
Chevrolets?
Yeah, Chevrolet, Coca-Cola, porn.
Baseball.
Right there. Baseball, porn. Talking about balls. We got it. And I think you miss out on that shit. You're never going to have the opportunity to see your old man lose his shit, practically have his shin split in two as he runs into the coffee table trying to pop it out of the DVD player because he doesn't want mom to think he was getting Flesh Gordon. And that was the things that you're going to miss out on. Now, kids, you can get anything. That's the problem. You know what? America's just not the same. Porn is so easily accessible with this.
I waited at my parents' computer for dial-up for the thumbnail to the picture to come on the screen. I sat there, dick in my hand, just waiting for the picture to come on. You know what I'm talking about? It just you had to wait. I stayed up all night to watch an HBO.
This boner isn't gonna last.
Say it was nudity, and I'd wait 2 hours to see 3 seconds of a tit,
I remember at school, like if you had a friend, there's always a friend who like lived in a trailer park or something.
Yeah.
But they would get like a black box. Like, yeah, my dad's got Spice Channel. So we wait till he goes to bed, then we go downstairs and we watch Spice Channel. Or you could watch Cinemax on the weekends.
This is Juice. Getting ready. Fucking excitement. Heart starts racing. Palms are sweaty.
You've got porn.
Yes. Here we go, Juice. Here it comes, buddy. Oh, we lost connection because somebody picked up the other end of the fucking phone.
Mom, I'm on the phone.
The whole thing got blown out. What did you say, Juice? I missed it.
That was my site back in the day, thehun.net.
Ooh, thehun.net. Let's see if it still exists.
That's a damn good question.
Thehun.net. Let's see. Well, I see it comes up the Hun's Yellow Pages, the Hun School of Princeton. Oh, Pornhub must have bought it because they're like the third choice down. Yeah. Wired, the hijacking of the Hun.
I got the Hun. I got the Hun right here.
HUN?
Yeah, look.
Hang on.
See some cleavage?
Yeah. That's a picture your wife sent you while you were working hard. That's what that is. I know what that is. All right. Well, too bad.
Well, it's definitely, all right. Man, porn, the good old days.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And now kids they fast forward it. And I do have a little bit of a concern. Fellas and men, you need to tell your sons, they're watching porn. You have to do this. You have to tell them what they're seeing is not reality. Because the first time they go out, they're not going to be this big stud who's choking and pulling hair and slapping asses. It isn't going to happen. Matter of fact, there's a lot of women who don't even want that stuff at all. They're not confident in their own bodies or themselves, let alone to let you really take them to town. But there's your first couple of times, you're not doing that. That's it. All right. I don't even say that to my kids, but I should. I don't know. I don't know what happened tonight. All of a sudden, I'm in a great mood.
Yeah, wow. We know how to get your mind off the Bills.
We did a 180. Juice, anything else you want to add, sir?
Well, only 2 games, and I will say that first game, it is the highest home underdog in like NFL history, getting 4.5 at home in a
Conference
AFC
title game?
championship game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. There he is.
So, but no, man, there's only 3 games left. Enjoy it, and we're all in on the Rams here at my household. We are Ram Central.
Okay, Ram Central. Look at you, bandwagon Juice.
Yep. No, I got two future tickets on the Rams to win it all.
Okay.
One that will pay $2,500, which will be nice.
Yeah.
Just win the Super Bowl.
Okay. That's it. All right.
Let's get that home.
Well, congratulations. Early, I'm going to say, because I think that there's just something about Stafford. He has this will to win.
Yeah, I think it's their year, and then he retires, and what better way to do that? And then Josh Allen goes out to the Rams.
No, that could be.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
That could be. That's what we're all. That's all.
People
we're
are
all
texting
worried
me,
about.
You think Josh is going to want out?
Yeah,
I'm like,
all right, Juice. Thank you, man.
Guys, this was fun, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Juice.
You're very welcome.
We'll talk before the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, we'll talk before the Super Bowl. Only if your only if your picks are right. No, I'm kidding.
Dude, there's only 2. If I go 0-2 for this, I'll never come on again.
Oh, stop.
That's how confident I am.
All right.
Okay?
All right. Well, all right, Juice. We'll see you later. Oh, there we go. Danny, anything else you want to add?
No, I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah.
You feeling all right?
I feel worse like after the press conference and the firing than I did about the actual loss.
Well, this is what's so interesting. Because I'm telling you, I really believe, and you know this better than I would, as a lifelong Bills fan.
Yes.
And being around the team when you were an intern and stuff, this reeks of old Buffalo. And we thought that smell had gone away. We thought somebody came in with sage and got rid of it. But this reeks of old Buffalo, the infighting and
the infighting, the incompetence.
Yes. Yeah. I hear you. But I can't, Yeah.
It's people talk about culture,
yes,
and everything else. Culture is only as good as your champion. And who is the champion? Whether it's either Josh Allen or Sean McDermott. Well, one of those guys is gone now.
Yeah,
it wasn't the ownership, and it certainly wasn't the general manager.
Right.
So now it's up to Josh Allen to basically like reestablish that, or this new head coach who's coming in and figuring that out. But I'll tell you what's going to happen. The next couple of weeks, you're going to have a new head coach hired, and then everyone will be, you know what? I like this guy. You know what? I think this guy. I think McDermott's run his course. You know what? I think this guy's going to be good. I like him. And you're going to hear that. And then the drum beat. He's going to say all the right things, or you hope he says all the right things at the press conference. And then people will be back on the bandwagon, right? And then, we'll get to OTAs. Then they'll sign a couple of free agents. Then they'll get to the draft. And the draft's going to be the tell, because the influencers believe that they have some type of sway over good picks and bad picks. And I got to be honest with you, the last several years, they've been more right than the team has.
Okay.
So come April, we'll get a real glimpse as to the direction this team is heading.
All right. Well,
then things will settle back down. Then they'll get to camp. Everybody will be excited. Then the new stadium's going to open.
Oh, yeah.
They'd better win that freaking game.
Well, when we find out who they're playing against, too, that'll be interesting. Watch it be Denver.
Watch it be New England.
Oh, watch it be New England. Yeah, that's a good one. All right, for our friend Peter Montemerno, our bad picker. I shouldn't say that. I'm kidding, Juice. And for Dan Barillo, with great insight on the Buffalo Bills, had a lot to say. Read his column, please, at thetimesofwaynecounty.com. Right?
You inspired the last one, the nicknames.
I loved it. You sent it to me. I loved it. That wasn't me. That was Juice.
Yeah.
I'm Bill Moran. We'll see you next time.
Since I left California, baby.